In Algebra 1, Section 3.2, we're dealing with relations and functions. So basically, a function is a relation that pairs each domain, an x value, with only one range, y. So basically, a function means that every x has a y, okay? So, for example, if I have 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called a function. For every x, there's a single y. I can, however, double up. So let's say I put 2 in an equation, I get 1, and I get 3 in an equation, and I also get 1. Okay? This can still be a function. But what cannot be a function is if I have the same x and different y's. So for example, if I had a 2 of 1, and then I had a 2 again for x, but had a 3, this is not a function. Okay? What this means is, okay, that means if I put a 2 into equation, I get the answer 1. And I rework it again, I put 2 in again, and I get a different answer. One has to be right, or one has to be wrong. I can't have different y's for the x, okay? So in this case, every x that I put in will give me a particular y. If I put in the same x, it will give me the same y it gave before. So therefore, this is a function. All right? If that's not clear, we'll clarify either more in class or more as the video goes on. So don't stress too much on that. So we generate ordered pairs from the function y equals x plus 3 for x equals -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So basically, this is the x value that they give us, the domain. So I'm going to put it on here, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. I'm going to put this equation, y equals x plus 3 on here. This is where I'm going to show my work. Okay? And whatever I get my answer as y, that's what I'm going to put in. Okay? So, let's say x plus 3. So y equals x plus 3. So -2 plus 3 gives me, -2 plus 3 is 1. Okay? Y equals -1 plus 3 gives me 2. Y equals 0 plus 3 gives me 3. Y equals 1 plus 3 equals 4. Sorry, I haven't been writing it here. And then y equals 2 plus 3 equals 5. So what I have in the parentheses is the x's that I've plugged in, my domains, and this is giving me my range. So from there, I just graph. This is my x, this is my y. Okay? So first I'm always going to start with my x. I'm going to start from 0. Okay? I'm going to go -2, 1, 2, and then up 1. I'm going to go -1, and then up 2. And then I'm going to go 0, and up 3. I'm going to do 1, and up 4, and 2, up 5. And then I'm going to connect. Okay? I put those arrows showing that I can keep going if I added more x and y's. Okay? If I didn't have the arrow, that means it just stops there. But it doesn't stop there. These are just suggested values. Okay? So go ahead and write that down, and then we are going to we have one more board, and then you're done, I promise. Please don't forget your vocabulary. All right, it says to give the domain and range of each relationship. Again, the domain is the x value, and the range is the y value. Tell whether the relationship is a function, use mapping. So I'm going to go ahead and write down my x, which is my domain, and then my y, which is my range. And I'm going to use mapping. So mapping is basically I'm going to put them in I'm going to put all the x's in one chart. 3, 5, 4, 3. Okay? And then I'm going to do the y's. Okay? And basically, I'm going to see 3 can either go to -2 or it can go to -1. Right? Because I have 3 twice. 5 only goes to -1 and 4 goes to 0. That's what mapping is. Well, because this right here is telling me that if I plug in 3 to whatever equation that's giving me these sets, if I plug in 3, it's going to give me -2. If I plug in 3 again, it's going to give me 1. So because it's 3 right here, because it's giving me one domain for 2 different ranges, this is not a function. Okay, I can have 2 different ranges. I can have 5 equal -2 and 3 gets -2. That's okay. But what I cannot have is 3. I cannot have 3 gives me -2 and 1. So this is not a function. Right? So for this one, okay, this is telling me that because it's continuous, this is in fact a function. But I still have to identify if the domain and range. So the domain, which is x, is telling me, this is the sign for between, remember from the last section? So x, domain has to be, this is my x, it has to be between 1 and 4. Okay? The range is the y. It has to be between 4, it's between 2 and 4. So let me explain. This is telling me that the smallest it gets is 1, but the highest x gets is 4. And this is telling me that the lowest y gets is 2, and the highest y gets is 4. Okay? So that's how I write the domain and range. So go ahead and try page 173, numbers 5 and 10, 173, numbers 5 and 10, and I will see you in class.